Joining us now, Clayton Stanley, president of the Alliance Corinth and Alcorn County, Mississippi's Economic Development Agency. Clayton, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Gerard. Glad to be here with you.
You bet. So we wanted to talk about something that I know gets tossed about, certainly in our Congress, and something that even just a lot of Americans discuss, and that's this concern about big tech. Big tech's getting too big, too powerful, has too much control, got too much of our information, and of course, government being what it is, what did Ronald Reagan say? If it moves, tax it, or something. I don't remember the whole statement, but right. If something else, regulate it, and that's what we got going on here, right? It's government's idea about everything is we could fix this problem. We just need more laws. We need more regulations. We need more government oversight. And I'll start by having, as one who was in the technology business for a long time, I'll start by explaining what I used to explain to the investment community. Technology is like a canvas. And these technologists, these innovators, they're artists, is what they are. It's just that their work product happens to be some sort of technical innovation. They start with an idea and a canvas, and they paint that essentially to solve human problems. My concern is, Clayton, when government intervenes in that, you're essentially telling Picasso what the final work of art's got to look like. That wouldn't go over very well. And that's what's going on here. Go ahead, sir. Tell us your thoughts about this and why this is really not the correct approach.
Well, I think you did a good job of summarizing it, but we're caught in this delicate balance between there are privacy issues, there are censorship issues, there are some concerns on both sides of the political spectrum that have been exploited by some social media and to a greater extent all big tech, and that's got to be addressed. And
Sure.
I would not contend that. But what we've got to recognize is that innovation of all types and our economy from top to bottom is so driven by big tech or by technology, and it is not unique to any one sector, and it's hard to wrap your mind around what tech looks like in the modern economy, and it's getting more and more engaged every day, and I frankly welcome it. We're excited about it. I've been on a commercial, my phone's been ringing off the hook. I'm a small town Mississippi boy who's been on a commercial talking about big tech all over the country, but we're embracing technology. We understand the importance of it. We understood the importance of it, how small Main Street businesses of all types were affected during the pandemic, and how they could use tech companies and tech platforms to keep business open and going during that. We never dreamed we'd be staring at a situation with China and the Ukraine and Russia right now that, is the same issue that could affect technology and emphasizes why it's so important. And if we break up big tech companies, Russia and Chinese and other bad actors have the power to scoop them up. We're talking about intellectual property, we're talking about data security, and there are flaws and they got to be addressed. But at the end of the day, I'm much more comfortable with a large American company that is watching over that than I am bad actors from around the globe that we know we can't trust.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And the concern you have, just as we've seen in the fossil fuels industry, we got government who gets involved, and in this particular government, this administration stated from the outset, we want to run these people out of business. And they got the message. So what happens is that those the operators in that industry, the players in that industry say, well, heck, if the government seeks to run us out of business, we're not going to invest anymore. Well, we can't get a return on that investment. The concern I have here is if government comes in and says, we're just going to regulate and keep regulating and to the point where we hairpin you, and you can't innovate and you can't get a return on those innovations, And that really opens up the door for our most ardent foes in China in particular to take the lead in some of these critical areas that could mean the difference in our very survival.
I think you're right. And I mean, your Picasso example is spot on. But you know, let's talk about how innovation in tech happens. I mean, it's an idea of one person. Many times it happens in a dorm room of a college, you know, from somebody who considers himself a student and not an entrepreneur and not a programmer or coder or whatever. And then boom, they have something, and they have a desire to monetize it, and they have a desire to take it to scale that they can't do from the dorm room and wherever.
Yep.
But they can with the assistance of somebody who's done it before. And it's, you know, in many cases, those same entrepreneurs, those same tech guys are the ones who come up with the next great innovation. They've had their appetite with the first round of success. And from there, there's that next motivation to monetize it, to take it to the public that they're excited about, that keeps them going to drive that next technology. And if we take away a potential partner in deployment, in a potential partner in funding what pays for a whole lot of hard work and a lot of dedication and sacrifice, then what's the incentive to do it? It provides disincentive almost, and it's certainly, America's got the best in this field. We gave up manufacturing in some ways, arguably 20 to 40 years ago, depending on what sector we shipped overseas. And I don't entirely fault us for that. This is different. Technology can be scooped up and taken around the globe instantaneously, and we're not dealing with people's furniture that was made overseas. We're dealing with real privacy issues that affect us all, that can turn your life upside down if somebody gets their hands on it.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different game. And the thing that I want to talk to you about is, look, born and raised in Mississippi, through and through Mississippi, want to see us do well. For a lot of reasons, we have an opportunity to capitalize on this as much or more than anywhere else in the country. You can do technology innovation from anywhere, particularly in an environment that's moving more and more work from home. In Corinth, I'm proud to say we've got fiber to every home. We've got great quality of life and a good place for a good school system who's training up these next innovators, I believe. And they're on par with anybody in Silicon Valley that does this as well. And I think we have an attractive sales pitch that we as an entire state, as an entire region of the country, needs to capitalize on. And that's why I'm proud to talk about it, to show we get it, to show its importance, and to really embrace the 21st century economy that is not going away. And I'm proud of it.
I couldn't agree more. The way to lift up every aspect of life in Mississippi, in my view, and just to improve our overall environment, is to boost our economy. And more importantly, we've got to start keeping some of these knowledge workers that we're training and we're educating. And we got to do that by having a place for them to work. And we've all got to work together, your group, other economic development groups, the state level, our state leaders, frankly, our Washington delegation. We all got to join together in promoting this state as a place to do innovative business. It's the only way we're going to get off the bottom economically.
You're absolutely right. Corinth's lucky. Alcorn County is lucky. We have a pretty diverse economy. But we've been disproportionate towards manufacturing since our inception. And that's great. I mean, manufacturers are good payers and very, very stable. But there's some people who don't want to do that, and I recognize that. And there's some who, our best and brightest feel like they have to leave oftentimes. And technology that you can do from a coffee shop right around the corner from my office can be done here and potentially keep those workers here. And we've all got to recognize that and go out of our way to embrace it. And I think we're going to be successful at it.
Totally agree with you, and anything I can do to help, man, I'm here. I totally agree with you.
One thing I would say, Corinth made the rotary dial telephone. Every one of them was made here from about 1975 until the breakup in 1990. At the time, hard to fathom, that was technology. We're embracing that and moving forward today, and I think we need to continue.
Great analogy. Clayton, thanks so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll talk again. Stay safe.
Thanks, Gerard.
See you, man.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
You too. Middays, we'll take a break right here. We'll come right back.